All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out Red Yellow Sabo. And, you know, I have to say it like this, guys. It's time for a new arc on the VV Theory channel here. It is time for the Red Yellow Sabo arc, okay? My first year of playing the game, roughly, not exactly, my first year of playing the game, I was really dedicated to a leader called Black Yellow Linlin. And I know some people who've been following this channel for a long time, this is like crazy news, right? Like, what? You're done with Black Yellow Linlin? No, I'm not. I'm not done with Black Yellow Linlin. But guys, let me just explain for those who are not aware, for some of the newer players. When I first got into this game, I hadn't really found, you know, it's hard to find what leader is your favorite at first. And I got into the game in OP02 when black first came into the game, and that's the color that actually got me into the game, right? I've said the story a bunch of times. And then yellow came out, I thought, oh, that's really cool too. Well, about halfway through OP03 being released in the West, someone on the channel, I do apologize, I can't remember their name, this was back like literally a year ago. This was probably like 10 or 11 months ago. They said, hey, will you try Black Yellow Linlin? Because, you know, I was starting to, on the channel, I was saying, hey guys, if there's a leader y'all want me to try out in the future, give me some suggestions. And they're like, hey, will you try out Black Yellow Linlin? And I was like, yeah, sure. Looks, you know, looks pretty rough. 4 Dawn invested every time for the leader effect. Seems rough. But I tried it. And I'm so glad I did, because it became my favorite leader from then on. I was like, wow. So me being the kind of person, to give a little more backstory on me, guys, every class or every game that I play in, the class that I choose is like the Paladin. I want to be this tanky, bruiser, healer, support character that can go on the offensive. And in card games, there's not really a direct equivalent to that. But guys, being able to heal, that's yellow. And being able to be in there and fight and kind of like this mid-range controlling type of thing, that's black right now, at least at the time we recording this video. And, you know, it kind of all started to make sense. It all just kind of made sense. And I was like, okay, you know what? This is now my leader. Like, this is the leader I could call my own. And I have to say, that made me play the game more and more. That made me want to take it to locals, to try out to try out my new revisions to the deck to see what it could do. Try things on the sim. I mean, you guys can see all these videos we're going through right now. This is all Black Yellow Linlin, all of it. You know what I mean? And it's like, but recently I've noticed that Black Yellow Linlin has just not gotten any support. It came out in OP03 and it has not gotten support. And here we are in OP07 in the West at the time we recording this video. And we're seeing some previews from OP08, obviously from the East. And it's finally getting 1 card of support in OP08. And that's actually, if you scroll back to the top here, that's what this video right here is all about. That card right in the middle is called Angel. The leader finally is getting some support. And it's like, okay, you know, this just doesn't feel good. And I understand some people might say, well, Gecko Moria was support, or this card was support. I understand. Yeah, there were cards. And hey, here I was playing this deck 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? But guys, there's been a reason that I haven't really been playing that much in locals. I have not played in a locals outside of the OP07 pre-release in like 2 months, because I'm like, what deck do I even play? I don't even know what to play. I don't have a deck to call my own that I could just always bring to locals and be like, this is what I want to play at any time. And guys, I think we finally got there, okay? And the answer is Red Yellow Sabo, okay? So sorry for that tangent there. We had to go down, you know, take a trip down memory lane. But Red Yellow Sabo is now my new leader. So we are about to embark on a whole new arc for this channel. Black Yellow Linlin was the first arc, which I absolutely love that leader, and I will be following it, you know, from a distance, of course, waiting for it to get some support maybe in the future. But for now, moving forward, it's time for Red Yellow Sabo. The time of Red Yellow Sabo has come. And we're going to talk about that, you know, more and more as the weeks go by. Now, don't worry, of course, like when you go back to, if you just look at my videos, I'm not just going to only do Red Yellow Sabo content, right? Y'all see how I do things. I like to have a little bit of variety. You know, I like to have a little bit of something for everyone. But a big focus for me going forward will be on a leader I've kind of been hinting at quite a bit, as you can see in this thumbnail. You can see up here, I did a video on it just recently, about 2 weeks ago. Red Yellow Sabo is a leader that I actually think is very good. So just to kind of chime back into what we were saying with Black Yellow Linlin, and now also with Red Yellow Sabo, I feel like these leaders, they're off meta enough for me to really want to invest in. When something's been figured out, this is just a personal thing for me. When a leader has been figured out, well, I don't really want to play it that much, unfortunately. You know, I still will play it. I will still put in the reps so I know how the deck functions, and that way I can play against it better and tech against it better, right? But whenever a deck gets figured out, I kind of start to back off of it, and I don't really want to mess with it and call it my own because it's already been figured out, right? Well, Red Yellow Sabo, yes, it's been figured out to some extent, but not fully yet, and it's still very off meta to where I can call this deck my own, and like I want to dedicate time into figuring out more and more and more. That's the first thing. No, the second thing is I think that this leader requires, it doesn't just require skill, but I think it also rewards skilled play. And then last but not least with this one, that I can't really say the same for Black Yellow Linlin, is this leader in particular is so generic in the sense that like there is no leader lock to this, right? Nothing's leader locked to what's going on here. And there's no life. Like, you had to, okay, going back to Black Yellow Linlin, you had to be at 1 or less life to use that effect. With Red Yellow Sabo, it doesn't matter. As long as you have a legal target on the board, you just throw it in the life and you gain more life. And it's just such a more versatile leader effect. And I think you guys will see what I'm saying, and we'll talk about that more as we get into the video. Okay, now, that was a pretty long intro, right? How long did that intro run? About 5.5 minutes. Okay, sorry, guys. But don't worry, I'll have everything timestamped in the comment section below. But let me give you guys a quick layout of what we're going to be getting into in today's video. First up, we're going to head over to the lab. We're going to check out a game of Ace versus Perona. Okay, that should be fun. Then we're going to check out a market-style video. It's not quite a market watch. I'm going to be linking the guy's video in the comment section of a guy talking about how expensive all the TCGs are right now. Okay, that should be very interesting. Then we're going to go over to the sim and check out 5 games of Red Yellow Sabo. And then we're going to analyze the deck and break it down what I'm running, what I'm thinking right now with Sabo, and right now and moving forward. And then lastly, we'll finish off with an art critique. Okay, so you know what you're getting into, guys. Again, I apologize for that extremely long intro, but I think it had to be said. The Black Yellow Linlin era has come to an end, and now we're in the Red Yellow Sabo era on the channel. We're moving forward, okay? All right, so that's enough of that. That took forever, right? Just to say all that. Let me go ahead and get us set up on the game from the lab. Y'all give me just a moment here. This one should be pretty fun. Like I said, this is going to be Perona versus Ace. Okay, let me get up the sim overlay, and now we are good to go. Oh, got to move my face over. All right, I do apologize too for the resolutions, guys. Everyone records at different resolutions and whatnot, so that's why they're not always the exact same. But hey, we'll make do, right? All right, so first things first here. Let's go ahead and dive into this. This is mono red Ace versus black green Perona, and let's see what goes on here. Volume is off. Speed should be on 2x. It is, and we're good to go. Oh, man. So Perona. Perona is a very strong deck, guys. This is a leader that has a lot of utility in the sense that it has 2 leader effects. Okay, Ezo Searcher grabbed an Ace, I believe. Very nice. Ezo grabbing Ace. This is very much like a Whitebeard Pirates deck because the leader's Whitebeard Pirates type. But at the same time, it has this really interesting interaction with events. Now, notice right now there are no events in hand, which probably feels very bad. You need some events to save your 5-cost Marcos, to buff your leader, and all that good stuff. But okay, it looks like we're going to... Wait, what just happened there? I'm sorry, guys. I got a little carried away rambling. Okay, we attack into the Momo, because the Perona played out the Momo, swing 2 into that. That's one of the nicest things about having a Searcher in whatever deck you're playing, is the ability to attack into the board. Right here, swinging 9 at face, that's probably going to go through. It would be pretty wild to counter out of this early in the game. Yep, it goes through, and now past turn, and Perona, Perona's chance to try to make something happen here. Now, real quick, what I want to say is having a 5-life leader versus a 4-life leader, that is a pretty big deal, right? So that does allow for Ace to not develop the board in that situation because they didn't have a play, right? And they still could be okay. Okay, now we did just get a trigger for Fire Fist, the Whitebeard Pirates Fire Fist. Pause. But we're not going to use it here because Sabo was played and nothing can be KO'd for the turn. Now, it looks like we do have a new card in hand. I can't remember what that card is, actually. Sometimes these newer cards do slip my mind. But we'll keep an eye on that as he plays it. But the most important thing is we do have an event in hand now. So now whenever we play out the card Marco, we can at least protect it a little bit. All right, so let's see what happens here. And wow, so we are going super aggressive. This was a 6 Dawn turn, and we're not going to be developing a Marco. So real quick, let's swing 6, so 2k counter, swing 7, probably block and 2k counter if I'm the Perona player. Okay, block, and they just let it go. Wow, okay, very interesting. So real quick, one thing I want to mention, guys, is I would probably have taken the time there to develop my board a little bit. And if I was Perona, I would have... Okay, 2 things. If I'm Ace, I would be developing my board. If I'm Perona, I would actually just let that attack go through and go to 2 life. I'm fine with that because I have a blocker on the board. I'm completely fine. You know, we can go on from there. But let's see what happens from there. That's not the end of the world. I wouldn't say that was a misplay. That was just a different choice there. Like, let me bust out the chess meter. It keeps like flickering my stream when I pause it. I'm sorry, guys. I got to bust out the chess meter real quick with what just happened. Where like, whoops, that's not the right one. That's not the chess meter. All right, here it is. So what I would consider those last 2 plays from the ace player, I would consider that a good play. Like it wasn't necessarily a book play; it was just a good play that was done. And then with the Perona, the same thing. But what I would have considered a excellent or best play in those situations would have been for the ace player to develop the Marco. It doesn't matter if you can't KO anything; it's just an Otama. Who cares? Playing out another body in this situation allows you to have more threats on the board, and you have the event in hand to protect from any kind of KO shenanigans. And then for the Perona player, I don't know what their hand is, so it's hard for me to make a direct call on that. But I don't think I would have given away my blocker there. So while that was good in the sense it saved you a life against a red deck, which has Rush, I would still only consider that a good play, whereas I think the best play would have been to block and then 2K counter out of that. You see what I'm saying? At least that's the way that I would have gone about doing it. Okay, so now let's take off the accuracy meter and let's keep going with the game. And they had another Sabo follow-up. Okay, yeah, see, that's what's really weird, because I was going to say, maybe they were letting their Sabo go because they didn't want it to get KO'd on the following turn against something like a Flame Emperor 7-cost event. But no, he had another Sabo, and you know, that is interesting. Let me make sure we're on 2x speed here. We are. Okay, they're trashing a Rosinante from hand and a Suru. Okay. I really wish I could see the hands of each player because, you know, you never know. Maybe he drew the Sabo for the turn and didn't know it was coming. Swing for 7. Well, there's that card. So what was... I'm sorry. So was that a 2K counter? I think that new card... Oh, I missed it again. Hang on one second, guys. This card here, I think it's called Moda. Sorry, guys. I do have to... There it is. So this is a 1-cost 2K counter Lelucia Kingdom card. It's from OP07. I feel like I've never seen this card, guys. I do apologize. It says, your turn on play... give up to one of your Portgosti Ace plus 2,000 power for the turn. Okay, very cool. So it's like a 2K counter that can also buff your character, paying 1 to buff 2, and it's a 2K counter in hand. Really solid card. Unfortunately, it's not searchable by like Ezo, but hey, it's still a very solid 2K counter. So they're going to 2K counter out with it, and then use one of the Marcos from hand, and now it's our turn again. This is an 8 Dawn turn for the Ace. Okay. And here we go. We're going to drop down the 7-cost Ace. And it looks like we're going to go 6 and 7 at face. Very nice. And the blocker's not going to work this turn unless they want to just use it to get KO'd. Which, honestly, I think probably I would just take the life. This guy is so scared to take life, guys. The Perona player. It's like, hey, you do have to take a little bit of life. Use your life as a defensive resource when you have to maintain something on the board. And I was going to say, okay, we see some cost reduction. We're going to finally see something get popped here. I was wondering when this was going to happen. It's like, okay, we're playing, sorry guys, we're playing against a Perona deck, and they're not popping any characters. And I know there weren't any characters to pop, but I would still be trying to develop the board in that way. All right, so now we got 2 events, which are good, really solid for this leader. Otama looks like we're thinking about an Otama play here. We can drop the Sabo down to 7,000 with that. Okay, and yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we can KO it with Rayleigh, so no reason to use the Otama here. So now it's going to be a 6,000 power Sabo on the opponent's turn. We just developed a Rayleigh. Rayleigh is extremely good. That is a card from OP08, guys. Rayleigh is one of those cards that is just... I wish it was better in different ways. Like, I wish it did a different effect, but it is still an insanely powerful effect. Okay, here comes Gecko Moria playing out a blocker and playing out a 1-cost searcher. I'm really perplexed by this deck. Like, where are the Ryumas? Where's the cost reduction in the Ryumas? Okay, we can pop a 5,000 character with this if we want to. I would just smack that leader maybe. Or, I mean, not the leader. Smack the Rosinante. I mean, we have another one in hand if we need it. Okay, you don't have to, but I would actually have popped the... I would have popped the Rosinante in that situation. You know, just and then we actually... So, pause. We can actually go for lethal if we had done that. So, what we could have tried in this situation was, you know... Okay, let's say we pop the Rosinante, right? The blocker. Well, we can attach 1 Dawn... Actually, don't even attach 1 Dawn. Just swing for 8 with our Rayleigh, and that will determine everything else we do from here. So, swing for 8, and remember, we already KO'd their blocker with our with that Fire Fist I was saying from last turn. So we swing 8 at face. If they take it, Then I think we actually swing 7. Hang on. Well, we'd also be able to buff it in hand, and we drew an event for the turn. Give me 1 second here. So with 7 Dawn, we could play out the ace and swing for 9, and then buff the rest on our leader with our cards in hand, like our events in hand, and go for 9 as well, I think. Because remember, 1 Fire Fist would be gone, but we still have the Jet Pistol. So 3, yeah, I think we'd be able to do 9 and 9 to try to close out the game. Okay, but that's all right. You know, not a big deal. Let's see what they choose to do in this situation. And that's one thing I want to mention while we're waiting for the play to be made. Don't miss your opportunities, guys. That's one thing. I'm not saying to play recklessly. Do not misunderstand what I'm saying. Do not play recklessly. But, you know, I think it's really good to, you know, capitalize on these opportunities. Okay, popping the Rosinante with Marco. That's fine as well. And now we can swing 5 with our leader. Let's see. Actually, yeah, 5 into there and then load up everything to take out the Sabo. I kind of like that if that's what he's thinking. Yeah, absolutely. And leave 1 Dawn open. Excellent. Leave 1 Dawn active for your Radical Beam. Okay, and look at that. We swung through, and they were able to 2K out. So our original plan of going for lethal wouldn't have worked anyway. And then, like I said, we'd have just done the you know, playing out the ace. We'd have gobbled up the board in that way. Okay, so here we go. They play out another Gecko Moria, getting back the same Rosinante and another Otama. Okay, looks like they revealed a You Can Be My Samurai, so we know 1 card in hand is a dead card. So I would counter out of this. How many more attacks do we have? We have a 9K attack. So I would use your Radical Beam here. Absolutely. That was the exact correct play there. No doubt about that. 9 into face. Sure, we'll take that. And now we can actually go for lethal. Excuse me. I believe we can go for lethal here because we know 1 card in their hand is dead. And I don't remember what the Otama searched from the previous turn, unfortunately. Yeah, right here we can just Fire Fist. Yep. Pop that card. Boom. Another thing too is you probably could have just straight up used a Jet Pistol there to pop it, and then you can use your you know, the double Fire Fist to buff. Well, I guess that works either way, right? That works either way. So right here I would swing for 7 and see excuse me, and see what they give you. So I would swing for 7 with Marco to see what they give you, like a 1 Dawn investment, 2 face, swing for 7, and let's see what happens. If they counter out, then we just eat up this board with our cards on board. We might have to just go for lethal, period. Okay, right here. So swing 9, and then we're going to swing for 8 plus 1 from the events here and go to 9. Let's see if they have it. Nice. Okay, and I found they were running 2 Eustace Kids. Interesting list. We found the Ryumas, though. The Ryumas were in their hand the whole time. I was wondering what was going on. Like, man, what kind of janky version of the deck is this? But they had the Ryumas in hand. They just didn't have a good chance to play them. Had 2 Eustace Kids in hand. I'm not a huge fan of that when it comes to green-black Perona, but at the same time, I also don't knock them for trying something new, trying something different. Really good game, though. Like I said, the only thing that I think I would really have tried to capitalize on was this turn right here when they do the Fire Fist. Here, hang on 1 second. They swing. Actually, it was before this. It was right here. So when they swing for 7, boom. I would have used this trigger right here. This is on turn 6, as you can see at the top right. I would have used the trigger to pop the Rosinante. Right? Pop the Rosinante, because remember, you can KO up to 1 of your opponent's characters with 5,000 power or less. Okay? Pop the Rosinante, no problem. And now, you know, let them go through. Okay, and then everything else, you know, they attack for the turn, and now it's our turn. So right here, they would have no Rosinante, and we would not have one of our Fire Fists. In this situation, I would actually just swing 8 at face. Not even 9. I would swing 8 at face, and that would have gotten the 2K counters out of the opponent's hand more than likely. I remember they went 2K to get out of the 8K earlier. Or not. Hang on. We attached... We made it where we could swing for... Let me fast forward a little bit. Sorry, guys. Play. So right here, we swung 12 into 9. This is where they went 2K to save their Sabo, remember? So they did have the 2K in hand. 2K right there, 2K right there. So when they, you know, when they go to do that... Hang on. There we go. So right here, sorry guys, we got to fast forward a little bit. If we had used the Fire Fist right here to pop the Rosinante, and then our first attack was going to be 8 at face, they were probably going to counter out of that, right? And then when they did that, let me fast forward to our turn. We could actually then use the Portgosti Ace to eat what was on the board and swing the rest at life and put him down to 1 life. And then from there, we could have gone. Hopefully that made sense. If not, if you guys have any comments or questions, please put them down in the comments section below. Okay, that was a fun one. That was a fun one from the lab. Let me go ahead and black out the screen for a second and set us up. Move my face down here. Move this off the screen. And now we are going to be checking out a... we're not going to be checking the video out. I'm just going to talk about it. Let me go like that and move the sim overlay. There we go. I will link this video in the comment section below. It literally came out 16 hours ago. It came out last night when I was... Before I went to sleep, I was checking out this video. And check this out, guys. Looking at the average price of basically the top 10, top 11 TCGs out right now. Look at this. Okay, not too surprising. You have Magic the Gathering and Flesh and Blood at the top of these scales. Yu-Gi-Oh! Just under that. For the average price, excuse me, let me give some background. What he did was he took the top 5 decks from each one of these games. How he determined that, I don't quite know. That was his own decision, and I think it's still pretty accurate, though. But he chose out of the top 5 MTG decks. That was not standard. That was for modern. It came out to be about $900 for the average price of a deck. Flesh and Blood was $760. Yu-Gi-Oh! $550. Grand Archive already over $500. I'm not going to get into any other TCGs right now. In fact, real quick, I am thinking about starting up another YouTube channel that will be geared more towards the other TCGs. The One Piece audience has been very loyal to me in this sense, and they expect me to be putting out nothing but One Piece content, and I actually enjoy doing it. It's my favorite game. I have no problem with that. But I want this channel, the VV Theory, to stay One Piece exclusively now. But just understand, for any of the new players or the new listeners, when I started this channel, the VV Theory, it was supposed to be all-encompassing for all TCGs. I might have to, kind of redo my plans a little bit and make another channel that focuses on TCG news as a whole. So probably similar more to like, I think this guy named Wasi Plays or something like that. His channel is kind of more like that, where he goes over all the TCGs. I don't know. Should I just keep it on this channel, or should I make a brand new channel? You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I'm still trying to figure it out for myself. Anyway, back to what you're saying. Grand Archive is a brand new game. It came out about a year ago. It's even younger than One Piece. And it's already approaching $500 for the average deck. That is rough, guys. If you guys play Grand Archive, tell me if that's right or not in the comment section below. It's a game I was looking to get into at some point, along with Flesh and Blood. Of course, I picked like some of the top 4 most expensive games. But I was looking at getting into Grand Archive, but seeing that price tag is really turning me off to that idea. Universes $490, Lorcana $380, Cardfight Vanguard, which, by the way, this guy's channel, I believe, is primarily Vanguard-centered. About $370 for Vanguard on average. One Piece, about $300 on average, okay? $310, $320 on average. We'll take it. We're way down at the bottom of the list in a good way, right? Digimon, $230. Shadowverse Evolve, $135. And then Pokemon, under $70 for the average deck list. Just incredible. Now, I am not going to go into full detail into this video. Like I said, I will link it so you guys can check him out. I really appreciate when content creators do this. And look at this, guys, 3.2K subs. He's kind of a newer channel, I think, or at least a smaller channel, if not newer. Because this guy, I will say this, the guy did make a video about a year ago on the same thing. Look at this, guys. Talking about a trip down memory lane from earlier, talking about Black Yellow Linlin. Look at this video from 1 year ago, May 16th. 2023. Look at these prices he got together for this older video on how much does it really cost to compete in trading card games. Back when Zoro was a $250 deck because the rush cards were so expensive. Eustace Kid $55, $80 for Kinemon, $150 for Edward Newgate. That price kind of went up and down a little bit, but it's kind of still around there. I think it's like $120 for the deck nowadays. And then he had Emporio Ivankov. I feel like Red Green Law should have been somewhere on here, but that might have been before it was completely figured out. I don't know. That was right before it was right when I was getting into the game. But even when I first got in the game, I do not remember Ivankov being a top deck ever, especially over something like I said, like Red Green Law, even Dofi or Mono Red. What's his name, Luffy. But anyway, let's not, no reason to get too technical on that. The idea, though, is look at this, guys. Look at how things have changed. And back then, by the way, here, let me fast forward a little bit. You can check out these videos for yourself if you want to. But even back then, look at this is a different pricing. I didn't watch the whole video, so I don't know exactly how it's laid out. But this is the overall thing, the overall setup here. Flesh and Blood was way on top back then. And I think this is when they were doing standard for MTG. Like, he used a standard metric for Magic. And, guys, Flesh and Blood, this is a game I also want to talk about. The 2 games I really want to talk about are... well, back here, I like Grand Archive and Flesh and Blood. Those are 2 games that I really want to talk about, and I'll probably have to open up a whole nother channel just to start discussing it, because I like those games quite a bit. Grand Archive, I like the way it looks. I like Lorcana. I like Flesh and Blood. I am a TCG enthusiast. I love TCGs. I enjoy them. They're perfect for me, especially now that I'm getting older, you know. It's like it rewards skilled play, it rewards expertise, it rewards like attention to detail and deck building and creativity and all these different things. I just love TCGs. Okay, so anyway, like I said, I will link both of these videos from this guy, DeckFlare. I have no idea who he is, by the way, guys. This isn't like my friend in real life. I have no idea who this guy is. It just popped up in my feed last night, and I thought it'd be interesting for you guys to check out. And hey, this video came out, like I said, about 17 hours ago now. Look at that. It was 16 when we first started this, when we first talked about it, like 5 minutes ago, and now it's up to 17 hours. But One Piece, down at the bottom, where we want it to be when it comes to price. And hey, I want that number to keep going down and down and down and down and down. I want it to get right around this $150 to $200 mark, and then I'll be very happy. Hey, if it could get down in Pokemon levels in the future, that would be great. But as long as we're staying under 300, which it's right at 300 right now, 317, if we can stay at 300 and below, I actually think One Piece is in a very, very good position to keep growing as a game. Okay, that's that. Now we got to hop over to the sim and check out the games of Red, Yellow, Sabo. First up here, guys, check this out. Game versus Purple Luffy. Hang on, let me get set up real quick, guys. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine by now. Okay. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x. And we're going to hit play. Now, before I hit play, though, just understand that this version of Sabo that we're checking out today, I'm experimenting with a Big Mom Pirates version of Red, Yellow, Sabo. And it still has rush support and stuff like that, but Big Mom Pirates is the big theme we're going to be looking at. And guys, it was pretty good. We'll check it out in this video. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. And as usual, if you guys have any comments, questions, suggestions, what's working for you, share it down in the comment section below. I love to get feedback, especially knowing now, guys, that this is my primary deck. Red, Yellow, Sabo, I want to take this deck to the next level. All right, let's do this. So we're going against Purple Luffy in the first game here. Hopefully that bottom bar goes away. There it goes. Okay, good deal. So you saw that in my hand there, right? Tropical Torment. Have to give a quick shout out to Dane and Ricky G in the Discord. They sent me a spicy Red, Yellow, Sabo list, and that's where I got some of these ideas from. So really good stuff here. Again, big shout out to Dane Higgins and Ricky G for the help with Red, Yellow, Sabo. And we're not done yet, but we're trying to figure it out. So right there, real quick, guys. Back to the game. If you're playing against a purple deck, do not get caught with 7 or more cards in your hand, okay? You saw what just happened there, right? They played out that 4-cost law after attacking me with 6 cards in hand. I said, I could really take this life, but number one, you don't want to take life before your opponent is at 3 life or less with Sabo, because you're going to miss some of your triggers, okay? But even if you're not playing it, Red, Yellow, Sabo, whatever you're playing, purple decks who attack you with 6 cards in hand are trying to hit you with that card right there. Look out for that. Okay, here we go. We get a Kikinojo from the draw for the turn. Tropical Torment, you're at 3 life now, buddy. Swing for 6. He blocks and 2K counters out. I guess he was just being cheeky there. Maybe he's trying to figure out the sim. Who knows? And now he's going to swing for 6. Now I don't mind taking life, and look what I get. Oh, a Cracker. Yeah, we'll take that. We will throw a Cracker down. He plays out a Magellan. Very, very annoying. Very frustrating. But now I've got a body on the board with tempo. And let's see what we do here. I think we're going to swing for 7. Yep, we're going to swing 7 here. Let's see what he gives me. Might take a life. Uses the blocker. I was like, oh, okay. Now we're going to swing 7 more. Put this card on back. And get a card, and then we'll swing 5 with putting, because I don't care. This is at least taking a card from their hand, and if they attack into it, it's also saving me a counter. So like that was just very nice having that there on the board. So we knew it was going to be a Cracker. We'll trash the Cracker we had in hand to get it back. They attack into pudding. That card worked brilliantly. That was a very high value card there. It drew me a card, 8 an attack, and ate a card from their hand. Okay, so right here, it looks like they played out another Magellan, which is really slowing me down. It's really annoying. That card is so annoying, guys. Freaking 5-cost Magellan popping one of your Dawn cards. Okay, so let's put this card back. Play out the... Okay, I had to do that in the correct order. Play out the card I want to play first to give it plus 2,000 just in case. Even though I think purple really usually deals with cost for their KO. But still, it's nice to have a 7,000 powered character just in case. You could practice proper sequencing with that. And then, I put the Cracker back in life. Okay, trash this. I really couldn't decide what I wanted to do here. It's like, okay, I will trash the 7 cost, even though I don't want to, because I know I think he had 6 Dawn open, or 7 on, whatever it was. I knew he was going to play out the poly. I get another trigger. Here we go. We're going to swing for 7. Let's see what he gives me. Nothing. I'm like, okay. I still don't feel comfortable going for a game right here. I probably could have. Let's see what I do. I think I choose to actually... I'm pretty sure I attack Pauly this turn. Like, I'm almost positive I attack into Pauly this turn with Neko Mamushi. I could be wrong, but let's see what happens here. Okay, I'm sorry. It is taking me a while, guys, because I want to be careful. Oh, that's what it was. I messed up there. What I should have done, knowing I was not actually going to go for a game, because I didn't actually want to go for a game there. I thought it was a little too risky. I should have put 2 Dawn on my Neko Mamushi. That was the mistake I made, and that's what I was beating myself up over it, trying to fix the play afterwards. That was a mistake. It wasn't quite a blunder because there is still an easy way to get around it, but I wanted to put 2 on Neko Mamushi. I really wanted to put 3 on Neko Mamushi and swing 8 into Pauly to try and get that character, then push the Neko Mamushi back to my life and buff the Perona to smash into something in that way. But that's okay. You know, it is what it is. That was actually just simply a play mistake, though. So I think at this point, I'm like, okay, now I have to double down. This card has to be removed. It has to be. So I swing 7 at face, try and get him down in lethal range for my Luffy. He counters out. I know he's running low on counters. Excuse me. I am not at jeopardy of losing this turn. Even if he has a 9-cost Kaido, it doesn't actually matter because I have 3 life and I can counter out of a 5 or a 6k in my hand. So I'm not at jeopardy of losing the game this turn. He swings in there. I guess he expected me to put up a little bit more resilience to save that card. I was not. It's like, okay, that's not what we're doing. Now, right here, I'm like, okay, you have 1 card in hand. I guess I'll swing 7, and now I guess I'll swing 9. GG. Because he only had 1 card in hand. He was bluffing 2 Dawn open, so it could have been a what's it called? It could have been a, I can't remember the name of it now. Not Radical Beam. Blast Breath. It could have been a Blast Breath. Or it could have been some kind of 2 costs like Thunder Bagua or Hell's Judgment or something like that. I don't know. But the whole idea was like, okay, you have it or you don't. And then even if you do have it, you're not going to beat me on the following turn. And I'm just going to, go about the game that way. Okay, now, let's go to the next game. Sorry. I got a little lost in thought there. Okay, so that was Sabo versus Purple Luffy. Next game we have against a red Purple Luffy. Well, that was weird. Yeah, I've never seen the player do that. I might have to restart my computer soon. Okay, this one was an interesting game. This one was interesting. So let's go 2x speed here. Starting off with a pudding. That is always an ideal start for what we're doing. It's just nice having that body on the board. Yes, it is a 1k counter out of your hand, but you searched for what you needed, or at least you tried to search for what you needed. You have that body now to deal with stuff, and now, oh, boom. Red Purple Luffy, guys, I'm going to tell you right now. Red Yellow Sabo might be the hardest counter to Red Purple Luffy, period, if you're running the Landawano trigger cards in the deck. Because I didn't have to do any damage, and I just get those triggers out. Like, we're talking Kikonojos, Nekomamushis, Denjiros, whatever you're running, I get it for free. So now that card he just played is going away, and guess what? Now I have an infinite loop in my life of Nekomamushi. Every turn it's going to come back into play now, and you're never going to get value. So swing 7, because you have to attach 2 Dawn, 2 Nekomamushi to do his effect. And now it's like, okay, I have 3 Dawn, so I guess we'll just start smashing in. So I pull that card back to life. I swing for 7. Because it buffs a character when it comes back to life, right? That gets a 1k out of hand. This guy is scared because he knows I'm coming in for 8 with this next one. There you go. I guess what I should have done technically, like looking back, is I should have only attached 1 Dawn to my my leader, and then did the play pushing back Nekomamushi, get plus 2,000 to my Perona, and then after swinging with Perona for 7, then load up the next 2 Dawn on my Red Yellow Sabo, just so my opponent doesn't know how to counter out effectively. That was a slight play mistake. Okay, let's see what happens here. They're on their 7 Dawn turn already. They have ramped a little bit. I'm still on 5 Dawn. I'll be on 7 next turn. Now they're gonna go back in Dawn 1 to play out Useless Kid. They're swinging 7 at face. I'm like, dude, you know what my top life card is. Like, why not at least go for Perona, right? So I at least have to drain a card from my hand and not get the extra card on the board. So right here, okay, I think so I swing for 7. Okay. I think that was another slight play mistake. I don't know. Okay, actually, maybe not. Because I buff it like that, and I can swing 10 into that character. Maybe that was not a play mistake, but I don't know. I probably would have done it differently looking back. That's all right. We got the job done. We took out that character. I've got my opponent on 1 life. And, okay, if you attack into me, okay, that's just going to be a 2k, and then he's going to swing for 10. So I'm doing the math. I'm like, do I have enough to get out of this? And the answer is yes. 2k there. Swings 10 into 7. I'm going to give him a, the 2k there. As I say, I almost thought I was going to use the 0 cost. I was like, whoa, that would have been a mistake. But right here, guys, I mean, I'm just in a commanding position. I'm like, wait, how much? I'm like, wait, you've got 5 cards left in hand. Let's see if this goes through, and then you're just gone. You're just toast, right? So swing 11 into 6, and that's all he had in hand. He had no Dawn active, which they usually depend on that for the rad beams or whatever type of event support they're running. He didn't have that, so he just got ran over, guys. And look at what was in my... I didn't have anything crazy in my life other than the Paris Bear that I put there. That was going to come right back into play. But then I had a Charlotte Pudding for a Searcher, Tropical Torment, which I could use to trash cards with for my other trigger effects. And then I had a Monkey D. Luffy coming at the end, and that's a great closer. Okay, well, that was the one against Red Purple Luffy. We do have 5 games today. Next up, we have Enel. All right, I said Red Purple Enel. There we go. Okay, so multitasking at its finest, right, guys? That's me. Great at multitasking. Unbelievable. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I was trying to multitask there. So Enel is extremely, extremely good in the current format. But guys, Red Yellow Sabo has his number because I can gain life like he can if I have to. I don't have to gain life, but I can if I need to. And then I can go pretty wide with these little cards, these 3 and 4 cost cards. And some of these 3 and 4 cost cards are insane, right? Like Neko Mamushi is a very, very strong... like stalemate breaker, right? It's like a tiebreaker card. Like, oh, you don't want to swing? Okay, well, I'll just swing into the card I want to, right? Excuse me. So I swing 5 at life here. I'm not afraid to drop him down to 2 life, but anything below 2 life might be a little bit crazy unless I have some really strong follow-ups. So play that out. So right here, I think I go swing 5 with Pudding, and now it's like just pass. I don't have another attack to give. So hey, you can have my Pudding if you want to, right? You can smash into Pudding if you want to, but I just needed to get you down to 1 life. They play out a Hiyori. Excuse me. They played out a Hiyori there. I don't really know what they're trying to do with that. You can have the Pudding. That thing did its job. Again, so that's Pudding for you, right? It drew me a card, and then I swing for 5, and now it took 1 of your life, dropped you down to 1, and now it also, you hit into my Pudding, and now you saved me a counter. Pudding in this deck has very high value as long as you can attack 1 time with it. The value is insane. And just like with any searcher, right? But that value, guys, I talk about that a lot. Value is a big deal. Okay, let's see what my opponent's got now. It's like, okay, hey, dude, I'm just going to poke you for 5s. We are not messing around. We're just going to come in for 5. I've got a very fun play here with 7 cost Linlin. Pop in for 5. They countered out of the first one. They give me the counter there. Now there's no reason to attack again, even though I guess I could have maybe attacked first and then did it. So right here, they counter out. Okay, I'm not sure about why I swung there. I'm not exactly sure why I swung there because I don't think they took a hit, did they? Whatever the case is, we got a card out of hand. We'll take it. I kind of missed it. If they had not used their leader effect yet, I don't think I should have swung. Oh, that's right. They set their trigger with Hiyori. Hang on 1 second. I do remember now. They set their trigger with Hiyori, whatever the top card is. So I kept trying to smash into poke and try and get them to trigger that whatever the trigger was before something big was on the board that might cost me the game. Okay, they swing 7 into 5 with ace. I let them have it. They swing 5 into 5. I think I counter out of this. 2K counter's fine. Yeah, don't waste the Neko Mamushi here. Okay, and now they have 9 Dawn. They're probably going to try to pop something here. 5 into 5. I'm just going to give them a 1K counter. It's fine. Even if they have Yamato, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm going to force him to play it, right? Because you could tell he was like reluctant to play it. He didn't want to. But it's like, no, I am going to at least force you to play that. And now, guys, it's not about going for game anymore. Now it's about fighting the board. I'm going to swing 9 into 7. Let's see what they give me. Okay, and now I'm going to swing, since I know that works, we're going to go 7 into 5. Do it again. See if this one goes. This one should go through if the other one did, right? Play out another Linlin. What do you want to do? Do you want to give me a life or do you want to take a life? They want to give a life, of course, in this situation. I'm going to protect my other Linlin and get the effect again. Playing out giving my new Linlin plus 2K, not really a big deal. That doesn't really do anything. But guys, I'm now in a loop with the 7 cost Linlins where it's like, okay, I can swing with one and then play the other every turn if I start taking life. Now, they were able to pop Linlin with a Gadatsu because I had so much life there. But hey, I'm not really worried about it. I go ahead and use that Flampe to draw a card and play out my Linlin. They give me another life. They only have so many Yamatos, Gadatsus in the deck, right? And they only have 4 cards left in hand. So it's like, all right, whatever, man. We're just going to keep going in on this. And right here, I can't decide if I want to attack or not yet. I think the right answer is to not attack in case they have an ace, in case they have a Yamato, which they're going to have something. In this situation, I think it's also a very strong play to play out like a Katakuri. So they choose to do the Flampe here to draw that life card. They're going to pop my 7 cost with the Yamato. It's fine. That's fine. And then I'm going to play out Neko Mamushi, double Neko Mamushi here. And now I'm saying, hey, I'm going to start attacking your board. So whatever you want to do here, go ahead. They're going to pay 2 to play out Shirahoshi. That is actually very solid in this situation. And they play out a Nami, and they're going to swing for 9 at life. Well, I don't really care, right? I've got 7 life. I could have tried. I might have been able to counter out of that with hand, but why would I waste all my counters on that? I'll just lose the top life card. Swing 8, I get an... Guys, I think I'm running like 24 or 25 trigger cards in this deck, so getting these triggers is not even like a surprise to me. So I got 1 Frank, and then I got another one, so I draw with that just to see. Okay, and now I'm going to swing for 7. Actually, I'm probably going to... Oh, 7 into the blocker. Yep, swing 7 into the blocker. Now I can put that card back into my life to protect it, and I can buff up my Kikanojo, and we'll start smashing into their board. 11 into 9. You're going to have to give me 2 cards minimum. You're going to have to give me at least 2 cards here to keep this character on the board. Let's see what they choose to do. They actually do protect it. That's fine. So right here, I have to decide. I think I can only attack 1 more time into one of these bigger characters. Oh, 6 into 6 here. That's fine. Let's see what they give me. They let it go. And then I just develop another character here, I believe. Yeah, playing out the Sanji makes the most sense to me, looking back, and I do actually do that. So now it's like, if I need to protect something, I can. But if you attack into my Kikanojo, you can have that thing, right? And they're going to want to attack into Kikanojo, right? Because if they don't, I can just... It just becomes out of control, right? If you don't attack into Kikanojo, they use a Raigo on a Sanji there, guys. Raigo on Sanji is crazy. Okay, they swing 11 into 5. That's fine. You can have it. I'm not too worried about it. Because he has 1 card left in hand, right? I've got my opponent right where I want them. For those who do not see it, I have my opponent exactly where I want them. 5, I do need to counter out of the little cards like that. 9, we can take that. We get another Kikanojo trigger. I have my opponent, like I said, I can't stress that enough. I have my opponent exactly where I want them. I'm going to swing 7 into there. I'm going to pull this card back, and then we're going to start smacking into this board. 1 card at a time here. Smack into that. 10 into 9. That was just a bad play. So that was a blunder, because I should have just done 9 into 9 if I wasn't going to go 2 over, and that would get the 1 card out of hand if it was a 1K or a 2K, and then I'd had enough to attack into both leaders on the board. Guys, I'm hitting myself after that one. That was such a play mistake. It should have just been 1, well, it should have been a 9K attack or an 11K, not a 10. 10 was just a mistake. And I get on to people for that all the time. It's just a mistake. And now, look, I'm exactly 1 Dawn short of attacking 9 into both of these characters, but it's okay. It's fine. All right, so we'll go 3 here. We'll swing into 9, and then I only have 1 card left here. Now, one thing I will say is I think I probably should have attacked into face here, because they don't have a way to cycle out that card. You know what I mean? Like, to use their leader effect. But at the same time, if they got a trigger, they could still use the Enel's effect. It is a very technical ruling, but you'll have to look it up or ask me in the comment section below if you don't know what I'm talking about. I think they're about to just give up, though. I think they've pretty much had their fill. They know that they can't win. Look at my board, first of all. What do? Do you go for my board and give me 2 more life, and then I just eat up your board in the process? I have 8 cards in hand. I have 9, or what, 8? Yeah, 8. I can't count. I have 8 cards in hand. Okay, counter out of that. Now I can't lose no matter what you have in hand. 9 into 6, sure, I'll gain a life. Absolutely. And then what do you do here? Okay, is he going to swing, was that 7? He plays out Momonosuke to push back the Yamato. That's nice and all, but at the same time, it just does not matter, right? It's just not even relevant at all. So right here, we're gonna. You have to load up for at least 6 for each one of these, you know, in order to get past the Momonosuke. You don't want to give them anything for free right now. Okay, so right here, I'm just trying to figure it out. Sorry, guys, it is taking me a second. Looking back, I'm like, oh, it's obvious what I do here. I just load 6 on the leader, like load 1 on the leader, smash the. I would have actually smashed into the what's her name? The 2 cost Onami. Okay, I go into life there. And right here, I'll just probably play out play this card out, smash in, swing for 7. Let's see what trigger he's been waiting on this entire game. Okay, that's very cute and all, right? But we're gonna push the Luffy back to life. We're gonna swing 3 into 3. Your turn. You have no cards on the board. I have 5 life and 7 cards in hand. You can keep playing if you want to, right? You can keep playing if you want to, but I just don't care. Now I have 6 life. It's fine. Now I'm gonna play out 2 cards from my hand, the Frankie and the Cracker, and we're gonna go about things that way. We'll swing 5 into 5, see if we can get them to use a counter. They get no trigger. Play out 2 cards. Your turn. And again, what is my opponent supposed to do here? They have 25 cards in their deck. That's what I was just showing you. I have 20 cards. And they can keep delaying the inevitable at this point, but it just doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? It just doesn't even matter. And then they backed out really quickly. I couldn't even attack there. Hang on 1 second. What am I doing? Pause. All right, here we go. I'm going to have to play. Let up to pause. Okay, perfect timing. They had a Katakuri, but again, I'm just not. I'm just in no position to lose this game at this point. It's all about attacking the board. That's how you beat Enel. For those who are wondering how to fight against Enel, yeah, it might be a long game, guys. It was a 15-minute game, but it is very doable with this deck. And if you play correctly, where you're always just trying to win the board, don't even worry about their life, because you can go up life anytime you need to with your leader effect. Always try to fight the board, okay? And I'm actually going to talk about that more when we get to the other the final part of this video, where we talk about the critique, the deck breakdown, the deck analysis, because there's one more card I want to add. Okay, speed 2x, playing against Katakuri this time. This guy wants to race me. I remember this game. This guy wanted to race me. He goes, "Oh, okay, you want to go fast? Me too." And it's like, hey, all right, man, I've got red as one of my colors. Okay, swing for 7 with banish. Sure, he got my Kid and Killer. Not worried about it. Swing for 5 into 5. He takes it, gets Kikinojo. Okay, all right. I've got a Kikinojo too. All right, I've got a Kikinojo too, buddy. He plays out Parasparrow, swings for 7. We're taking it. I get a Parasparrow trigger. Seems good. Seems good. Swing for 6 more. I should 2K count. Oh, excuse me. Swing for 7 because of the leader effect. We get a Sanji trigger. Easy game. Easy life, I have to say. Swing 7 at face. Let's see what triggers he gets. Now I can bounce that card back to my life. Give plus 2,000 to the Parasparrow. We'll swing 7 into face. He gets a Parasparrow. I swing 6 into 6. Play out a Kikinojo. I've got 1 blocker. I've got 2 life. I've got 3 2Ks in my hand. I'm feeling just fine here. I need to counter out of one of these just to make sure. And now it's like, okay, wait a minute. He played out a Kikinojo for the turn, so he only has 3 other attacks. I have a blocker. I can take this one to ensure my Kikinojo hits the board. He swings for 7. I'll take it. He's going to swing for 7 more. I can actually just counter out. I don't have to waste a blocker. This guy is in deep trouble. So swing 7. Let's see what kind of triggers you got, bro, because you're going to need all of them. Okay, he does get a Onami, but he popped the wrong target, that's for sure. So I swing for 7 there. Then right here, I'm going to load this up, push one of the Onamis back, yeah, or one of the Kikinojos back. Then we're going to swing for 9, and we're going to swing for 9. And that's game. So he taps down my pudding, goes plus 1,000 on his leader. It doesn't matter, I'm swinging for 9. GG. Okay, good game. That was a fun one. And I have to say, guys, that... Well, couldn't Flame Spit have giving him plus 1,000? We'll check at the end. I don't remember. Whatever the case was, if it could have, I think he actually could have survived that. Right? I'm trying to think. I don't know. I can't remember. Okay, let's keep going. Like I said, we'll try and review that at the end if I remember. Last game. We got another Red Purple Luffy. This is not the same as the first game. I do just want to show that, guys, this deck right here, Red Purple Luffy, probably is going to struggle against this one. Swing 8 because I have no other play. I didn't get my Searcher. You know, we'll just swing in for 8. And my Tropical Torment is actually completely dead against him. So that is one thing, I guess, going in their favors. My Tropical Torment does nothing against this leader. Okay, we got I got a Frankie, so I actually just used the draw card effect, even though I didn't get the body. It's fine. I'll swing 6 and play out a 4-cost character. Maybe even a Parasparrow, I think would be pretty good here. Oh, okay, sorry. Nope, I've got a way better play. I got a way better play for you. Since my opponent's already at 2 life, I will play out a Kid and Killer, swing for 7 for 4 Dawn invested, and then put it back to life and just keep doing that whenever I want to, whenever I need to. He doesn't attack enemy because of that. He doesn't attack in. Well, it's like, hey, bro, sorry, you're going to have to still make some decisions here. You're still going to have to make decisions. I'm up to 5 life. I've got a 7-cost 8K down now. Sure, I'll take it. I need to draw cards anyway. And by the way, I drew another Linlin for the turn. That 7-cost Linlin in Sabo is wild, guys. It is absolutely crazy. Okay, they play out Monkey D. Dragon, swing for 9, swing for 9. I take both. I get a Kikinojo trigger. I have so many triggers, guys. Like I said, I'm actually surprised when I don't get a trigger in this deck. I swing 6 into 1 because he has a 6K blocker just to make sure it gets through. So right now, I probably should have swung with 1 more on it anyway. That was probably just a mistake. I play out Linlin, push this card back to life. Hang on, I got to do this in the exact right way. 10 into 9. I probably should have swung 6 at face first. Why didn't I swing at face? I'm sorry. So was that just a mistake there? 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Yes. So I forgot to swing with my leader. That was just a mistake. There's no reason for me to not swing with my leader at face. And I actually think I should have done that first. Swing 6 at face first, just in case he wanted to use his queen in a counter. Then I could have swung 10 into the 9K dragon and got value that way. Just in case. But I did forget to swing there. That was a mistake. Okay, what is my opponent going to do? If they attack into my life, I get a 6k body on the board. If they attack into my one body on the board, it is a 10,000 power body. And look at what I have in my hand, guys. I have a 0 cost 3k in hand. Okay, they're going to swing 12 into 10. I've got horrible news for this guy. I'm going to counter out perfectly with the 0 cost event. He does not attack into me for a reason. He doesn't want me to gain any life. It's like, okay, well, in that case, we're going to swing 9. There's a radical beam. Then right here, I think do I push it back to life? Yeah, I think I do. I'm trying to see what I do here. Swing for 7. Yep, we're going to get a card out of hand there. We're going to push that card back to life to get plus 1,000. We'll go 11 into 9. We'll do this the good old-fashioned. We'll do this the safe way, 9 into there. I probably, yeah, pause. So I could have won that turn, but it's like, you know what? I'm at 4 life with these massive bodies on the board. Let me play this in a slightly safer play, maybe. Yes, I know. Anyone who watches the channel enough knows, like, hey, you said take your opportunities when you see them. It's true, but I wasn't exactly sure what was in his hand. I could have done it either way for sure, and taking the opportunity would have just won the game faster. But once I took out his board, he saw that. What does he do here? He could swing 8 into my 8. I'll just counter out with a 1k counter pudding. And then he could play out his 10 cost guy to get another turn after this. He'll be able to swing for 7 with his leader into face. That will just give me a kid and killer. He knows what the card is. I just put it there. And then when he passes turn, the most he'd be able to do is try to smash in my board on that following turn. But I've got two 2k counters in hand and 2 other 1k counters with the 2 crackers and then the one pudding I was saying for earlier. It's just it feels like an unwinnable position for my opponent for sure. Okay, all right, so that's it for the games, guys. Let's go ahead and bring up the actual deck list. So here it is. Let me move my face. Almost forgot. Here is the deck list, guys. It feels really strong. I don't know how else to say it. Now, I have been sent, like I said, so there's like 3 main people I talk to about Red Yellow Sabo. One of them is, it's 4 people. So 2 of them are my local guys. Big shout out to Daniel from Locals. Big shout out to him and Mike from Locals. Those are my 2 guys. Very close friends of mine in real life. You know, we talk about Red Yellow Sabo at Locals all the time. Then there are 2 people on my Discord as well that I talk to about Red Yellow Sabo very competitively. One of them's name is Dane Higgins, and the other one, that's what he goes by. Like he was in a featured match on one of the games. Like it showed his name up there. But yeah, big shout out to Dane. Like he was in a feature match with playing Red Purple Law. I think it was against Whitebeard. I can't remember exactly. I saw it not too long ago. But a really good player, very competent player. Him and his buddy Ricky G, they're like local buddies as well. So me and Ricky and Dane, and then me and Mike and Daniel, we have created this like alliance of Red Yellow Sabo players. We are trying to make this leader work, guys. I promise. If something is working for you at your local level, please put it in the comment section below. We need to bring all of our skills, all of our brainstorming, theory crafting ideas, deck building ideas together, and experience together to come up with this, guys. We got to make this leader work. This leader is so good. Let me give a quick layout, guys. Okay, currently at the time of recording this video, these are the 5 decks that are really popping off in the West in OP07. Enel, Lucci, Red Purple Law, Bonnie, and which one am I missing? Oh gosh. And Black Yellow Luffy. That was the other Black Yellow Luffy. And guys, okay, let me tell you right now, Enel, Black Yellow Luffy are almost free games. They are longer games sometimes, especially in the case of Enel. Those are longer games, but very, very easily winnable. Like very high win percentage for this leader. Against Lucci is a rough matchup, but still very winnable. I would put it at 50-50. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but guys, remember, we are flashing in with these cards like Luffy and Kid and Killer, and then they're coming back next turn. And then like the bigger characters that they're going to be able to pop, like Linlin, they're already doing their thing with on play, and then they're potentially giving us triggers from our life with all these other cards like this. Now, I will say this too, all of us have different lists, like every one of us that I just said, all 5 of those players, we all have our different Red Yellow Sabo list. But a lot of the ideas I get from, I've kind of combined all the ideas together to make this one. But let me finish that list. So Black Yellow Luffy and Enel, very, very easy matchups, or very solid matchups for Red Yellow Sabo. Lucci is very winnable at probably about 50-50. Bonnie is the one rough one. Okay, Bonnie is a rough matchup. Just full stop, Bonnie is rough. It is a hard matchup, but it is still winnable. I do believe it is still winnable, but I think you have to make some revisions we're going to talk about in just a second. And then last but not least, the 5th one is what was it? It was Red Purple Law. Red Purple Law is almost, I mean, I think it's almost free, guys. I mean, I would say it's bare minimum 60-40 in Sabo's favor. So if you're doing 50-50 against Lucci and you're doing like above average, like above 50-50 against Red Purple Law, and Enel's like a very winnable matchup too, like there's no reason not to try this at least, right? But Bonnie, so let me say this right now. If your locals is teched for Bonnie, this is one thing that I will recommend messing around with, right, you know, to help you out. And I think this is like the natural progression of the deck. So this is kind of the idea, is going up on Shanks. If you are dealing with a meta where there are a lot of green players and maybe even a lot of blue players, that might sound weird, but blue as well, I think Shanks is one of those cards that can help you win those matchups. Maybe not blue. Neko Mamushi just kind of does what he wants. He attacks into the board, and then you just throw him back to life. They can't even deal with him, right? I mean, they can attack into life and then hit like a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger or something. It's possible. But my point is, he's going to do his thing, right? Like this card is very, very, very hard to deal with for your opponent if they don't have on-board removal. Now, against Lucci, this card's not as good. So, like, this would be a prime target for a 1K counter or using your zero-cost event. Versus Lucci, it's all about these rushers, I feel like. The rushers are extremely important. And the same thing with a card that, hang on, let me bring up Denjiro. This is another card. If you attach 2 Dawn to him, Lucci's effect is no longer turned on, as long as they're at 3 or less life, obviously. Like, this card is not KOable by effects anymore if your opponent's at 3 or less life. That is massive, guys, because the idea is, first of all, he can come into play, you know, off of your trigger. So let me say that right now. If you have more Luccis at your locals, which I know a lot of people are running a lot, you know, there's a lot of Luccis out there, you might want to go up some Denjiros in your list. Like maybe 1 or 2 Denjiros for something like a Neko Mamushi. Or, you know, like maybe in for some of these Sanjis or something like that. And this will help your matchup against Lucci. Against Enel, nothing needs to change, but Shanks does help that matchup along with Bonnie. Shanks helps the matchup with Bonnie and Enel, for sure. Luffy, not so much. Black Yellow Luffy doesn't care about that because it just always refills with the Sabos, the 5-cost blocker Sabos, so nothing can be KO'd on the board. But that's where this Luffy comes in. If you drop this Luffy on them and they don't have a way to KO this character, the game's over. Because if they go down to 0 life, you just swing through for 15, unblockable, GG, no re. Like, there's just no way out of it, you know what I mean? Or 15, 16k unblockable. It's crazy. This card just shuts them down. Red Purple Law, Shanks is not really good for that part of it, and neither Denjiro is actually not bad against that because you'll always push back one of your other characters to your life to give him the plus 2,000 power for the turn, and that's going to cost 2 of their minus 3,000 power effects, which they can still do. They can still pull that off sometimes, but this card's actually not bad against that. And the same idea with Linlin. Like, how many times are they going to get their power reducers, right? If they're running 8 in the deck, which is crazy, I know they have 4 of them, you know, 4 Raise Max and 4 Gordon sometimes. Okay, if they remove 1 Linlin and they remove 1 Denjiro, how do they deal with your Nekomamushis, your Kikanojos, your, you know, or some other cards, your Parasparrows, things like that? You know, it's just not realistic. But yeah, this is kind of the way the deck is trending that we just looked at. The card that I added was Shanks, and I also added this Flaming Dragon King. This card, guys, I have not played it and had any success with it at all, but everyone else I've talked to, like of the 4 players I told you about, the 4 guys I was telling you about, all of them say this card is so good, and I don't doubt them. I just haven't had the success with it yet. I have no doubt. Like, for example, I will say this. In that game I was playing against Enel, y'all remember the game against Enel, guys? Let me see something real quick. I'll at least bring it up on the screen here. Okay, let me go like halfway through the game. Boom, boom, boom. Where I had like 7 life. I just want to see something real quick. Where was it? Right here. Imagine on this turn right here. Let me see what I actually do for the turn. Let me go full screen real quick. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even move my head for this. Okay, that's fine. And then let me go plus 30, plus 30. Okay, right there. So imagine right here what I could have done. Hang on 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Pause. Imagine if in my hand right now, one of those cards, whichever card, it doesn't matter. Just imagine one of those cards was Flame Dragon King. Whenever they go to attack this turn, like I still would have played out my Linlin. That doesn't change. That, remember, that didn't change, and they play out a Gadatsu to pop it right here. In fact, I think it's right here where they pop it, right? Well, actually, excuse me. Let me fast forward a little bit. They end up popping it with the Yamato, excuse me. So they pop, and that was just 2 wasted Dawn. I didn't even attack with my leader. If I had sat back on that and I had adjusted all of these life cards, guys, that would have been insane. You know what I mean? So I do see the practicality in running this card in running the Flame Dragon King. And also one thing that I think it was Ricky G was telling me, Ricky G and Dane were saying, like, hey, you know, this card is basically your 2-drop. You just swing for 5, you know, on you know, like, let's say your opponent went first, right? So they're on their 1 dawn turn. Now it's your turn. You pass with 2 dawn up. You don't attach anything. Now it's their turn. Say they swing for 8, or if they swing for 6, 7, it doesn't matter what they swing for. They swing for 5, it doesn't matter. You still Flame Dragon King, and you set your whole life. Now you know what's coming. You can make sure that you don't miss your cards like Kikinojo or Nekomamushi, you know, against some of the more aggressive decks and things like that. Or set up your Frankies as like your second to last card. Set up this as your last card. You're the one who should disappear. There's just a lot of potential with that. Now, real quick, I do want to go back to the original list I was running for today's video that you saw in the actual games. Let me load up. Here we go. So this is what I was running. Let's count the amount of triggers I was running. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, potentially 24, and that's not counting the event triggers. That's kind of different. I have 24 potential bodies coming out of my triggers. Now, yes, one of them is very conditional, and arguably, I will say this, in this list, you can arguably run Satori here. It is an option. It is a possibility, but Frankie in the right spot is definitely just, it's money, right? If this is like your last, in your last 2 life, if one of them is a Frankie and you get it from there, the value is off the charts. It's unbelievable, right? So just absolutely incredible. And you could actually, these koalas, if you're going to run Shanks, I don't think you need to even mess with these koalas because you have a way to pop cards. Because, so the reason that Shanks helps against like Bonnie and Enel's obvious, right? You can pop any card they drop, you can pop with 10 cost Shanks, right? Let me just bring him up real quick. Okay, this card right here. You can pop any card that Enel plays. Any of them, because 10 cost Ace is a 10,000 power character. Yamato, 9,000 power. Katakuri, 8,000 power. So anything they drop, pop, it's gone. Easy. And now you have a 10 cost 12k, and you can start smacking their board with this thing, winning the board all day while gaining life whenever you need to with your characters. Against Bonnie, exact same thing. Everything that Bonnie plays right now, the biggest character is a 10k, and that is Doflamingo, if they play it. 8 cost Kid, 8,000 power. 9 cost Zoro, 9,000 power. 10 cost Dofi, like I said, 10,000 power. The only card you can't pop with this in those 2 decks is obviously either 7 cost Enel, they can make it survive if they need to, or the 6 cost Basil Hawkins. That's totally different. But long story short, the cards that matter that you need to deal with, this pops it. And this card is very, very strong, and I would recommend it going forward. A card I have messed with in the past is this one. I have messed with Shanks. Hang on. Let me walk through the list real quick, guys. I'm so far ahead of myself. I'll read the leader for any new players real quick, and then we'll run through the list. Okay, it's a 5,000 power 4-life leader for red and yellow. It is a Revo Army Dressrosa type leader. Okay, Dawn ×1, to activate main once per turn, you may add one of your cost 3 or higher characters with 7,000 power or higher to the top of your life face up. Then give up to one of your opponent's, goodness gracious, give up to one of your characters plus 2,000 power until the start of your next turn. That is very important, guys, because it's making your 6,000 power characters that you give it to 8,000 power. That is very, very hard to attack into. If you give to Linlin, it's a 10,000 power character. It's massive, guys. It's huge. So yeah, I have messed with this deck many, many times, you know, and I will put other videos in the comment section below for y'all to check out at your leisure whenever you want to. Guys, this leader I think has a lot of potential. But for the time being, I just want to end on one more thing. Going forward into OP08, check this out, guys. There are 3 cards I really want to talk about, okay? Number 1 is Bonnie. OP08 Bonnie. This is a 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1k counter. Look at this effect, guys. Dawn ×1. I mentioned this in my last Sabo video. Dawn ×1 on your turn, once per turn. When your opponent loses a life, draw 2 and trash 1. Draw 2, trash 1 is crazy, guys. It is only on your turn. I understand, you know, that's the only time it matters, right? This card is so good. And then the trigger, draw 2 and trash 1. And remember, guys, this effect for the leader, 3 cost or higher character. Well, after I use this effect, if I need to, I'll put her in the top of my life, and I'll use the trigger after that, guys. It just has so much potential. The other one I want to look at, guys, is Nami. Check this out, guys. Nami is a 5 cost, 5,000 power character, 1k counter from OP08. On play, trash 1 card with a trigger from your hand. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Then if you have 3 or less cards in your hand, draw 1 card. That is wild, guys. That is actually so good. And think of it like this. Tropical Torment is a card that if your opponent has 4 or more life cards, place up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's life into their trash. You trash their top life card if they have 4 or more life. This is really strong against the 5 life decks, but later in the game it's a dead card, right? If they have 3 or less life, it is a dead card. Well, guess what? Once we get cards like this, oh, it just has to be a card with a trigger on it. Perfect. I guess we'll trash this card to get more value from this card. It's a 1k counter. It's a 5+5k. It has a trigger. It is just so strong, guys. And if you're like low on cards in hand, you also can potentially draw a card. And guys, one thing I'm starting to notice too, there might be some argument for this going forward. What if we start messing around like with that and go Straw Hat, right? Let me just type in straw. So those were the 2 cards I mentioned. And then the third card I wanted to mention was this one. And actually, I want to mention Onami as well. Because, guys, imagine if we go a Straw Hat variant of this deck. Like, I've tried Whitebeard Pirates. I've tried, this is Big Mom Pirates, right? If we go a Straw Hat version, guess what? Yes, it is true that one of those cards I just said, this card, you cannot search up with Nami because they're both Nami. But it just so happens this is not Nami. This is Onami, right? And yes, I understand it's Nami. But what I'm saying is when it comes to searchability, this is a card you can search up. Because this character's name is not N-A-M-I, it is O-N-A-M-I. So it is not the same, and you can search it up. And imagine everything I just talked about, guys. All these cards we were saying, this was the third card I wanted to talk about, and this is accessible to us now in OP07. Look at these cards, guys. Oh, trigger, pop a 5 or less. Oh, here's another trigger to pop a 4 or less. And then if we go this Onami, another trigger to pop a 5 or less. And everything but one card I just said is searchable by Nami. And then we also have Frankie as a searchable card by Nami. There might be something here, guys. I'm just saying. There might not be. And of course, this is searchable by Nami. And then instead of Kid and Killer, maybe we... Well, actually, we can still just run Kid and Killer. Why not, right? It's just a good card. There might be something there. That'll be for a future video. I'm trying to figure this out, guys. If you have any other ideas, please do not hesitate to post in the comment section below. All right. Now, let's hop over to the art critique. I've got a special one for today. We got a really special one for today's art critique. Today we're going to be looking at Raymond Swanland. This was one of the first ever artists that I really fell in love with their artwork. Let me make my picture smaller over here. I first came across his stuff in Magic the Gathering. Now, don't worry, we are going to analyze one piece, but I just want to kind of give an idea. Some people might have seen this artist and not have known, like, oh, that's Raymond Swanland. Here's a Nicol Bolas from MTG. Incredible artwork, right? Just sensational. The vibrancy in his colors, the composition. Look at the circle. Look at the spiraling. Look at the huge triangle of what the entire character. This character's name is Nicol Bolas. This entire character, how it's up on a pedestal. He is a master of composition and color. That is one thing that that's how I feel personally. Excuse me. Now I am just going to kind of scroll through these real quick, and then there's another one. I want to look at a Yoda piece for today because he also did a Star Wars, some Star Wars pieces. Okay, and he has a lot more. Okay, so now, real quick, let's hop over to Star Wars. And, of course, I will leave this guy's website in the comment section below if you want to check him out. He's got incredible, incredible pieces, guys. But today we're going to focus on Yoda. Let me go ahead and take a screenshot of this real quick and import it over to here. Give me just a second, guys, and we'll snag this. All right. Get a little behind-the-scenes type work, right? We'll cut this, then we will get back to here, paste it, and we'll make it 3D so we can mess with it. Okay, now, this piece is using a composition you do not see very often, and it annoys me because it's such an incredible composition. The first thing most people probably saw right away was this circle, right? We see the circles. Oops, I did not mean to let go of that. First thing we see here is the circles, and I'm going to use a very bright color that can pop, maybe a light green. Light green works, right? That goes with the Yoda anyway. So first you have like this circle right here, right in the middle, and it actually keeps going in, more and more, right? So let me just copy it. Let me paste it. Yeah, then we can just keep going, and these are like concentric circles, right? That keep going down smaller and smaller, and then we'll make one more, and we'll drop it all the way in the middle here. You can see where these circles just keep going out from the center, right? It's like this life force emanating from Yoda, right? And I don't want to talk too much about Star Wars. Don't have any spoilers for people who may have never seen Star Wars, which sounds crazy to me, right? I guess I'm old school, but for anyone who might not have ever seen Star Wars, don't worry, we're not going to do any spoilers. Now, excuse me, there's one more thing I want to talk about with the composition part, and then we'll go into some of the colors in the background. Check this out. We're going to have to bust out the diamond tool for today. Let me, what just happened to it? Did I let it go too early? Hang on. I don't know what happened to that diamond tool. I just completely lost it. Okay. Oh, I see. I have to make it 3D because it's getting stuck in one of the circles that I already did. This one we will. I wanted to turn it white. Let me just turn this one white because it'll pop really nicely. So here is a composition you don't see very often. The diamond. We see a lot of squares. We see a lot of triangles. But then the diamond, what is the diamond, by the way? It's two triangles that are on top of each other, right? And look what it does to this piece, the way it centers it. And it's all around this one central force. And in the Star Wars universe, of course, there is the Force, right? That's literally an entity within the Star Wars franchise, within the Star Wars universe. And Yoda, for those who are not aware, I do have to give some spoilers, some background. He is like this incredibly powerful old Jedi. He is a totally different species, race, whatever. He's not a human. I don't actually know what he's called, but whatever Yoda's type, race or species is, he's something totally different. And he is like the most powerful force user that we had ever seen at the time, right? Excuse me. Not getting into the Skywalker stuff. But it's just incredible how they did this. And now let's also back out a little bit and get rid of these circles here. There's also a little bit more going on in this picture. Just like any great piece, any and every great piece always has something more going on than just what you can just pick up by looking at it for 1 second, right? Check this out, guys. We got to zoom in. Let me just get the marker tool out for a second. Okay, and we'll grab a green. Excuse me. So check out what's happening here. So notice this little bird. This is some type of little flying insect or something. And watch what happens. Follow it up and look what happens. It's evolving. Do y'all see it getting larger and larger? And then look, he actually just kind of evolves it completely into a fully grown bird. This is it up here, and it came from this little part down here. Again, the composition is gorgeous. This S shape, it just has elegance. It looks incredible. And then look up here, we have it in a whole nother evolved form where we just see the tail, and who knows how large it is at that point. It's become something even bigger. And the way that the tail points back at the previous piece, linking our eye to the way it flows, it's something else entirely, right? It's almost impossible to explain. Hopefully you guys see what I'm saying. And then, again, one other thing is with the colors. Now, these are all very subtle colors. The colors are very subtle, but they have vibrancy because of the way he does the shading behind and the lighting in the front, like wherever he wants the lighting to be. It is so nice the way he does this. It makes it again, it kind of pulls your eye around the piece. Like, oh, here's a really bright piece. I'm going to focus on this. Oh, look at this down here. Now I'm actually focusing down here. And then all the way down here off the page, I'm focusing on that. Behind this planet, what's going on? What is that light source? Up here, why am I being drawn all the way up here where this light's coming in? And it's just so nice. We will probably be doing more Raymond Swanland pieces in the future. And I do have to say, I know most people want to see One Piece art critiques, but hopefully y'all understand, of course I will still focus mainly on One Piece stuff for this channel and all that good stuff, but every now and then we do have to kind of dip outside of the box, right? We got to check out some other things, keep our our peripherals open, the horizons open for other really cool possibilities, stuff like this. All right, I'm done rambling. Hour and 12-minute video. Sorry, guys. It is what it is, right? Hope y'all enjoyed that. Let me also, and if I miss anything, guys, please tell me out in the comment section below. I miss stuff all the time. So real quick, let's go ahead and finish off with a big thank you to the people who support this channel. If you are liking, viewing, subscribing, sharing, commenting, you are helping me out. You are feeding the algorithm. You're helping the channel out, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, and then if you're buying things like the playmat from me, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for that. Big shout out to all the VV Pirates playmat supporters. And then last but not least, the people who literally just want to, whoops, where is it? There it is. The people who literally just want to help out in whatever ways they can by just donating to the channel. It's basically like Twitch donations, like becoming members on YouTube or doing Patreon or anything like that. I have all those links in the comment section below if you're interested in helping out in that way. I really do appreciate you guys so much. All right, that's it. I hope y'all enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And yeah, until next time, guys. Peace.